say I'm proud of our team and where we started back in September. The uncertainty, new coach, trying to blend it all together, then injuries and up and downs. I'm thankful for the players and what they gave, and proud of how they stuck with it and stayed with it. And we were able to secure a playoff spot. Some of people would say, hey, we didn't deserve it, but that's their problem. But I think that we battled and fought and overcame, and even in this series we battled and fought, and it would have been nice to get another victory and have a chance to go to a 7th game. It wasn't to be. They were the better team, and they showed it in the last game here, but also when we were in Atlanta, they started exerting themselves and getting to the paint, and some of the players that we had held down, we held Teagues down and out of the paint early. We held Horford down, but ultimately they rose up, and Teagues was a huge factor as we came down to the last couple of games. Kyle Korver had a super series, but I thought the MVP of the series was DeMarre Carroll. And if I was picking the second MVP, it would have been Paul Millsap. Those two guys burned us every way you could think of, scoring, driving, passing, rebounding. I commend them. They have a very, very, very good team, and I'm proud of how we battled and took them to what we've taken them to with the 6-game series. But we'll have to collect our thoughts and get ready for the summer. It's an important summer for our young players. We're going to attend 2 summer leagues and try to get some of our internal players better. And then I'll get with Billy in the front office and we'll talk about other needs. And I wish nobody would ask me a question tonight about who's going to be here and who's not going to be here, because I have no idea. And it's unfair to try to get me to say something tonight after being disappointed with the loss and the way we lost as well. So with that, go ahead, Sarah.
You mentioned the way you guys lost tonight in battling this. Each game of the series has been so tightly contested. From your perspective, what was the difference?
Well, they played better, and in the second half, we were down 6. We came out, and I think we turned it over 2 or 3 times in a row, and they went right down and scored. And then the rope started slipping out of our hands, and I think they went on an 18-3 run, and that was the ball game. I tried to stick with it. We fought a little bit, but we didn't have enough fight to really overcome that start of the third quarter. And eventually I decided to just call everybody off and give some of the guys who don't get to play much an opportunity to play in a playoff game.
Lionel, I'm sure going into the game you didn't expect it to kind of go this way. Are you surprised at the way they kind of blew things open in the second half?
I mean, I never go and think we're going to get blown out, but when it started happening, I called a timeout, then I called another timeout, and you could just see they had the wave of momentum that they weren't going to let up. I mean, we got it back to 20, I think, one time, or 18, whatever it was, but I didn't feel like we were ever going to dominate them enough to get back in the game. So, that's why I took our guys out.
I know you were running 7 guys with heavy minutes through those middle games of the series. Obviously they were playing really well. Do you think at any point here as the series dragged on, fatigue set in?
Obviously, when they started playing every other day, fatigue would set in. But that's the playoffs. I mean, that group over there was playing a lot of minutes, and as they go forward, they're going to play a lot more minutes. That's the playoffs in the NBA. It's a marathon. You got to be lucky to stay healthy. You got to be mentally tough to fight through fatigue, because it's going to be there for both teams, and that's why as you go forward, you see shooting percentages go down, free throw percentages go down. It's just the nature of the beast, and it's been that way for a long time, and it will continue to be that way, and that's why there's a true champion in the end.
Coach, is there a sense that it took too long to figure things out this season, that you guys have played tough?
Did we make the playoffs?
You did.
Well, okay, there's your answer.
Well, I mean, do you feel like you
If
could
we
have
didn't
been?
make the playoffs, then you could ask that question. But right now, my feeling is that we overcame, we got to the playoffs. However long it takes is however long it takes. I'm not in control of however long everybody comes together and it takes. But we did come together and we had a beautiful run down the stretch, and we made the playoffs. To answer your question.
What else? Okay, thank you.
Just like to start by saying how well overall, over the course of the 6 games, how well Brooklyn played. What a great job Coach Hollins has done, not just in this series, but down the stretch, putting the team together and getting it where they were everything and more than we expected. And, adding different players and putting the team together is a lot of respect for Coach Hollins and his players, and the challenge that our group was able to meet tonight. I guess overall in the series, our defense was what we wanted to make a priority. I think we had 4 pretty good defensive quarters. The offense kind of comes and goes, and that happens in a game, in a series. But if we can continue to focus on our defense and be good there, and individually, lots of guys stepped up and played well. Jeff Teague, without scoring a point, I thought controlled the game, made huge plays to start the 3rd quarter, creating turnovers and transition. And then you go up and down the list of the other 4 starters. Paul Millsap, Damari Carroll in foul trouble and still having a huge contribution, and of course Kyle and Al. So those 5 guys were great. We got a little more from the bench tonight, Dennis and Kent and Mike Scott, Perro obviously. So we just we feel fortunate.
How was Jeff able to dominate the way he did without scoring a point? What did you say to him to keep him going, especially set up his teammates even though the ball wasn't falling for him?
Lots of times, Jeff is best when we're always talking to him about being aggressive, but I didn't say anything in particular or special to Jeff tonight. I think he had a good feel for how the game was going and what we needed. And, sometimes you take what the defense gives you or you take what the game gives you, and we kind of work on that all year, and every night it's somebody different. And Jeff's obviously had big nights, and he will have more going forward.
Just a few minutes ago, Lionel said that he would consider Damari Carroll to be the MVP of the series. How do you rate his performance over the course of the entire series, and just generally how important is he to you guys' overall success?
Yeah, I think Damari, the consistency over the course of the 6 games, and how he was able to, I think his defense, on the ball, on Joe Johnson, on different plays as they subbed and changed things was great. His commitment to the boards was great, and then he's really found a way to score. Whether it's making open shots or getting to the basket, he's sneaking into the offensive boards, which we ask him not to do, but he ignores us. And he's just growing. He's had a heck of a series, and now he's got to get ready for more.
The 23-3 run, obviously, to start the 3rd quarter was the key. Was it the defense there that kind of fueled that offense when you kind of look at it generally?
Yeah, it felt like the first possession or 2, I think we didn't score. I thought there were decent looks, but then I thought we were able to create 2 or 3 consecutive turnovers, and Jeff was a big part of that, and that got us out in transition, got us some easy buckets, I think got us into a rhythm, both defensively and offensively.
Coach, your starters were great all series. Over here, Coach. Yes, here. Your starters were great all series. Bench kind of up and down. How concerned are you about the bench going forward into the next round, sort of getting them more stable?
Well, I think they had their moments, and I thought tonight was a good moment, for some guys individually, and every series kind of takes on a different personality, and I think we have a ton of confidence in them, and they're going to be important for us going forward, and they know that, and we have a lot of confidence in them.
Mike, I know your team your team's kind of been trying to find its rhythm again over the last several weeks to sort of get it back. You've been up and down and had these stagnant periods. Did you kind of feel like tonight you finally saw the team that you saw often during the season?
Yeah, I think I probably just keep referencing or going back to our defense. That's when we're a good team, whether it's tonight or recently or, how far you want to go back, it usually starts with us being good defensively, and that can fuel us, and we can get out and play in transition. We can get to the rim or get some open looks and just play against a defense that's not set. And so I think defensively this was what we're looking for, and that's, I think we're looking forward a lot more than we are anything else.
I mean, you said every series takes on a different personality, but this maybe being your best performance of this series, is it good to have this kind of a performance going into the next series? Do you feel better, different now than you did maybe at the beginning of the series about how your team, the rhythm your team is in?
Yeah, and I think we talked a little bit about it before the game, and even we lost game 4, and you never want that to happen, but I think we were moving in the right direction 4, 5, 6. But at the end of the day, you've got to get back to work and get prepared for game 1, and if you assume anything, you're in trouble. But I think this was great for us to play playoff basketball, to compete like you have to in the playoffs.
Defensively, you guys switched a fair amount, especially in the first half. It's not something you've done a lot. It's not something you're really inclined to do. Any reason? Did you like it? Did it work for you?
I think it's because of some of the things they were doing, it made some sense for us to use it a little bit tonight. And I think more often than not, it was probably positive. We'll go back and, well, I don't know, maybe this summer we'll go back and look at the film. We probably got to move on. But I think to whatever degree it helped our overall defense, the guys' execution, the guys' follow through on the game plan was, very good.
Coach, obviously you haven't even you obviously haven't even started preparation on Washington, but the Wizards are a team that played very differently in their 4 playoff games than they did in the regular season. When a team kind of adjusts their style and their lineup so much in a first-round series, how does that affect preparation? Do you end up looking at the regular season stuff? Do you end up prioritizing more the playoff stuff, which is a way smaller sample size? What's the process like there?
We'll have to bring in the assistant coaches and they'll tell me what we're going to do. I think you need to do both. I think we always start with ourselves, and you learn more no matter how a team's changed, no matter lineups or even personnel to a certain degree. You start with yourself, and then of course it's important to look at their more recent games and how they played in the first round. So it's a balance of both, but I would put the preponderance of it on how we've played against them and they've played against us.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
I guess we'll start with the 23-3 run kind of to start the second half. Was that defense fueled? Kind of what was the key to that kind of decisive run?
Totally. I think I'll start with Jeff. His pressure on the ball was amazing. We got some steals and we got to get out and run. And I don't think Jeff scored a point tonight, but his presence and his fingerprints were all over the game. I thought he played. It was one of the best games that I've ever seen Jeff play. His focus and energy really fueled that third quarter, I thought.
Guys, for 2 questions. First for Kyle. It seemed like the guys were finding you in transition for some of your 3-pointers tonight, more than maybe normal in the series. Is that something that you've been trying to tell them when you guys get a steal or defensive rebound to, find me, I'm trailing type of thing?
Well, it's something that we've tried to do all year. We're at our best when we're getting out and running, and me trailing for threes is a part of what we do. It's just a part, though. I thought we made some great plays at the rim too. I think tomorrow you got a layup in there. Al made a couple good plays, but we've got a bunch of good, interesting pieces on a fast break. We haven't been that great sometimes finishing on the fast breaks, but tonight I got a couple of looks, and those always help me out too.
And for Paul, you had, I think it was 25 points tonight. You saw the ball go through the rim. What was working for you tonight?
Well, it started off, me and Coach Ham watching film earlier in the season when I was aggressive attacking the basket. More effective, I'm better when I'm attacking, and things open up. So just getting the ball in the right places, attacking the basket, the free throw line.
I just want to ask about the just challenge of this series and playing, with the shoulder, and just how difficult was that adjustment for you, and how confident are you now after a game like this going into the next round after what you played?
It's basketball, man. Injuries happen, things happen, and just adjusting on the fly, altering a few things, but just staying confident. Teammates stay confident in me, coaches stay confident in me. Just trying to get back to the normal fall, I guess.
Coach was saying even in Game 4 that you lost, you could sense playing better. Do you feel like you come out of this series playing better than you were when you came into it, and do you feel like you need to even get to the next level to the next round?
Yes, I agree with that. I did not think we didn't play that well the first 3 games. I didn't think. I didn't think we had our edge. And I think, coming here and losing 2, kind of woke us up. I think we can still play better. But I think we come out of it, like what you said, we come out of this series playing better than we did going into the playoffs for sure.
Kyle, earlier in the series, you mentioned that the defense does focus on the interior, that sometimes there's a tendency to get sucked in, and you guys give up several three-pointers, 3 and 4 here. It seems like we're mindful of getting back, starting rotation earlier, starting to close out earlier. You guys have been more focused on the perimeter, but not compromising the interior.
Yeah, I thought tonight we did a better job. They still got free for a few threes, but we really changed up coverages because they've been hurting us with threes. They really have in this series, and we talked about staying home with shooters more. At the same time, you have to protect the paint. That's who we are and what we do. So, but yeah, we're definitely trying to get back out to the shooters, just because they hurt us with it all series.
And Paul, you guys were switching a lot of the stuff. Williams and Johnson, you took a turn on Johnson when they went small. I hadn't seen you guys done it this season in terms of switching. It's not something Bud is inclined to do usually. Did you like the coverage? Did it work? Did you guys respond to it?
Obviously, it worked. It helped us out last game, so we decided to stick with this game. We decided to go me on Joe Johnson a few times just to get Damari off of him, stop the banging and the pounding on him. So, and switching all pick and rolls. So I think that helped us out a lot. Because Brook Lopez, Darren Williams coming off pick and rolls were killing us, and just wanted to stay in front of our guys and switch out and just continue to be active.
Lionel Hollins called Damari Carroll one of the MVPs of the series for you guys. Could either or both of you just describe what you thought of his performance over the course of the series on both ends of the ball?
I think Damari, came into the series focused. He had a great mindset coming into the series, being aggressive on offensive end and defensive end. When everybody else struggled, Damari pretty much carried us. And he's worked hard and worked through the years to become this player, and we're proud of him and happy for him.
All right, thanks guys.